this little channel. So welcome back to 12 the Books I Loved Before, part 2. So I am going to go over the stack that was in the previous book episode. In part 1, I'm going to go over the second stack. And like I said, just chat about them, talk about them. In case you missed it, I will link the first episode or the first part to that in the comments down below. I'm recording this the same day, so if you see like the same outfit, same day I'm recording this, there will be like different a different time like for you guys. So I have my second stack here. I have it separated into smaller stacks so it doesn't fall over and attack me. So like before, I'm going through to see if I want to read them sometime this year, or just add them to whatever TBR list or whatever, or just give them away to either Books A Million, and then whatever they don't take, then I will donate it to my local libraries and just get them off of my shelves, because I want to keep space for books that I really enjoyed, special editions that like I really want, like my favorite books, or just books that I can see myself read again. So, and I'm looking over at like my shelf now to see if there's any books I want to add to this stack. So I guess whatever I miss, I'll do like another part or just to talk about it. And yeah, so like the first two parts it's the first episode, but told in like two parts. I'm just going through books that I've had on my shelf for years that I just haven't touched, whether they were in my TBR bin for like ever, or that I've read back then, I liked back then, but I don't see myself reading them now. And maybe in like the next So All the Books I Loved Before series, or like the next episode or something like that, I could do like a vlog and just reading the series that I have. So we can just go ahead and get started. So if I could choose which stack to do, I guess I'll work backwards, I guess. So Merry Inkmas by Talia Hibbert. I read this last year for like Christmas, so I want like a holiday read. I don't remember if I read this on Kindle Unlimited or if I read the physical copy, because usually the spine would be, or probably not, it's not really bending. So I'm trying to see, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I read this physically, but I bought it. But I feel like if I bought it, it probably wasn't available on Kindle Unlimited, so I had to read it physically. I don't remember. I really don't remember. But I don't really see myself reading this one again. I have some Christmas reads. I think I have 2 Christmas reads in my to be read like shelf over there, and I have some Christmas reads on Kindle Unlimited. So hopefully by this Christmas I could like get those read for like the holiday season. So I have books that I'm saving for, but I don't see myself reading this again, because I enjoyed it, but there's just like some things that it didn't really like catch my attention. It's also interesting because the 2 main characters of the story is Cash and Bailey, and those names were in another book that I read by a totally different author. So I thought that was like pretty interesting. So I'm like, wait, is it the same characters? But wait, no, that Bash or that Cash isn't tatted, but he is. So I was like, what's going on? But two different characters, right? 2 different authors, 2 different books. But I don't see myself really reading this again. I'm still trying, because she wrote The Roommate Risk. I want to say she's the author of that. And I've been trying to get that vibe of the feeling I felt for The Roommate Risk, and I'm trying to figure out like which book did I have to read to get that same vibe and energy that I got from The Roommate Risk from her. but I haven't found it yet. I'm like, but it's like I know I like her writing. I know I do. So I'm trying to figure out like what's that next book for me from her. But I don't honestly want to bring this, so I'm just going to go ahead and add this to this tall pile that's getting pretty tall. I have the second book in the Mead series called The Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. And then the third book is The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Human. And I am keeping The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. I'm keeping that because out of these three, I really like the first one a lot more. And it was like funny and stuff like that, and I like the characters, but there's like just something about these two and how they approach the love interest I don't like about it. And I don't want to like spoil it because I just don't. It's like a spoiler free thing, but it's read in like in order, I guess. Well, I'll say in order, like if you read them in order, it flows better that way. She's coming out with another book. I think it's coming out March. I just don't know when. I'll put the cover here. So hopefully Editor Angel finds them. But I'll read that if it's available on Kindle Unlimited. I'll read it that way because I think all of these were available on Kindle Unlimited, but I got these before I got my Kindle, and I really wanted to read them. So hopefully the other book is on Kindle as well, and I could just read that on there. But I don't see myself reading these again. I like them for what they were. But like the more I think about it, the more I'm just finding things I didn't really like about like the two like books. But I know I like the first book more than these two. So I'll just give these away for whoever, decides to take them. This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, isn't she the one who wrote something else? So you see this little line, I have my bookmark still in here because this is the last book I read before I did that whole unannounced hiatus. But what I was reading like that far, I was interested. I wanted to figure out what was going on. So let's see what this is. Oh, this is a little poem. Okay, so Corsai, tooth and claw, shadow and bone will eat you raw. Malachi, sharp and sly, smile and bite and drink you dry. Sinai, eyes like coal, sing you a song and steal your soul. Monsters, big and small, they're gonna come and eat you all. Kate Harker wants to be as ruthless as her father. After 5 years and 6 boarding schools, she's finally going home to prove that she can be. August Flynn wants to be human, but he isn't. He's a monster, one that can steal souls with the song. He's one of the 3 most powerful monsters in the city, overrun with them. His own father's secret weapon. Their city is divided. Their city is crumbling. Kay and August are the only 2 who see both sides, the only 2 who could do something. But how do you decide to be a hero? What? Okay, yeah. But how do you decide to be a hero or a villain when it's hard to tell which is which? So it seems interesting. I know one of the booktubers I watch, I can't remember her name. Is it Sunny Kim Reads, I think? Because she mentioned this book in one of like her videos. And she really liked it. She was saying it was like a slow burn type romance and stuff. And it seems interesting, and I stopped right there. So I feel like, did something stop me from like wanting to read this, or was I just not like vibing with it? I don't know, because now that I've like read what it's about, I feel like, and how I kind of remember vaguely what this part that I've read happened in, because she just arrived into like a new school and stuff like that, which kind of says it in the description, so not a spoiler. But it still seems interesting. I'm still interested. I'll probably add this to my stack up here that I am like tentatively keeping. Well, tentative Wink Poppy Midnight, but Eon I'm most definitely keeping. But I'll see what this is, because it's giving siren. It seems like he's like a type of siren. If he could like lure people or steal souls with like a song, so it's giving like sirenish background, just without the water. So I'll keep that here and see if I could get back into that. I have Frostblood by Ellie Blake. The Reign of Ice Must End. I know I read this and I liked it. So, and like the tagline on the back up here, they say frost and flame were once friends. That world is long gone. You are the most dangerous person I have ever met. If I didn't need your fire so badly, I would have let you die. The Frost King will burn. 17-year-old Ruby is a fireblood who has concealed her powers of heat and flame from the cruel Frostblood ruling her entire life. Frostblood ruling class her entire life. But when her mother is killed trying to protect her, rebel Frostbloods demand her help to overthrow their bloodthirsty king. She agrees to come out of hiding, desperate to have her revenge. Despite her unpredictable abilities, Ruby trades with the rebels and an infuriating yet irresistible Arcus, who seems to think of her as something more than a weapon. But before they can take action, Ruby is captured and forced to compete in a king's tournament that pit Fireblood prisoners against Frostblood champions. Now she has only one chance to destroy the maniacal ruler who has taken everything from her, and from the icy young man she has come to love. Vivid and compelling, Frostblood is the first in an exhilarating series about a world where flame and ice are mortal enemies, but together create a power that could change everything. Based off of that, it's not really giving me the pull to want to continue reading it or finishing the series. So I think I've read it. Maybe. I don't remember, honestly. So I probably didn't read it. But I say I'm not a big fan of challenge tournament series. I never read what's that story called? Mockingjay is like the second one, I think, or the third one. I don't know. I see the cover, I see the movie, I see Katniss. I'll put it somewhere if I figure out what it is. But and of course I have Lightlark, and I think that's also like a tournament type one, but that seems more interesting than this one does. So I probably like just give it away. If I haven't read it this long, and even with after me reading the description, I don't know if I really would want to. And if I do want to, I could literally just see if it's on Libby, right? Or if it's on Kindle Unlimited. I'll check it out through there. And then I have Dreamology by Lucy Keating. And then the back says, I made him up. At least that's what I always told myself. The combination of my childhood adorations and one perfect guy. The trouble is, I was wrong, because standing in the doorway of the classroom, looking directly at me is Max. My Max. My Max of my dreams. My Max who does not exist. So I think I liked it for what it was. But I don't see myself reading this again. But I'll read you the description in case you're interested in wanting to check this out. I feel like I remember this being a cover buy because I liked how pretty the colors were, and I just really liked it, and I just liked how like the font and stuff like that. It was a cover buy, but I liked it for like what it was. But I don't know if I can see myself reading this, but let's see. Love is a dream, then you wake up. For as long as Alice can remember, she has dreamed of Max, a boy she's never met. Together they have traveled the world, ridden pink elephants, had cookie fights at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and fallen deliriously, hopelessly in love. Max is the boy of her dreams, and only her dreams, until the morning she finds him sitting next to her in class, very much alive, but he has no idea who Alice is. Or does he? As Alice and Max get to know each other all over again, Alice learns the real Max is nothing like Dream Max. He's complicated and stubborn. He also has a girlfriend and a whole life Alice isn't part of. Soon, strange things from their dreams begin popping up while they're awake. Giant talking parrots, hot pink autumn leaves, and rainbow-colored shooting stars. Alice and Max have to find a way to make it stop, even if it means putting an end to their dream life. But when you fall in love in your dreams, can reality ever be enough? Vibrantly offbeat and utterly original, Lucy Keating's debut novel is unconventional romance with sweetness and heart. So yeah, even so, based on that, I don't really I'm no longer interested, right? But past me, high school, middle school me, read this and enjoyed it, and it was a cover by. So yes, I'll give that one away. My Lady Jane by Cynthia Han, Brody Ashton, and Jodi Meadows. I remember reading this and I liked it, but if you see a flash, that was my phone. It's like at the bottom right here. I liked it, but I don't see myself reading this again either. So it's the comical, fantastical, romantical, entirely true, but not really, story of Lady Jane Grey. Lady Jane Grey, 16, is about to be married to a total stranger and caught up in an insidious plot to rob her cousin, King Edward, of his throne. But that's the least of Jane's problems. She's about to become Queen of England. Like, that could go wrong. So I remember it was probably like unserious, but I don't see myself reading this like again. So I'll read I don't know if I'll read a finish for all the books, but well, I'm almost done, so it's like doesn't matter at this point. Long live the King Edward, right here. Edward is the King of England. He's also dying, which is inconvenient as he's only 16 and he would rather be planning for his first kiss than consider he will inherit his crown. Jane, Brady reads too many books, but Jane is Edward's cousin and far more interested in books than in romance. Unfortunately for Jane, Edward has arranged to marry her off to secure her line of succession, and there's something a little odd about her intended. Call him Gifford, but call him G. Gifford is a horse. That is, he is Ethian, because there's the, I don't know if you can really see that, but Ethian, I guess, for the uninitiated. Every day at dawn, he becomes a noble chestnut steed, but then he wakes at dusk with a mouthful of hay. It's very all undignified. The plot thickens as Edward, Jane, and G are drawn into a dangerous conspiracy. With the fate of the kingdom at stake, our heroes will have to engage in some conspirings of their own. But can they pull off their plan before it's off with their heads? It seems fun. It seems, like I said, comical, fantastical, different take on the Lady Jane, like a historical, it's giving like historical comedy, like fantasy or something like that. I don't see myself reading this again, so I'm just gonna put this down here. Glitter by Erin Pike. A royal murder, the promise of the throne she never wanted, and a glittering jewel that is her only way out. I remember reading this, and I remember I liked it, but I don't see myself reading this again either. Ooh, the pages are like super like browning, but that's what happens in books. So I'll read the description. Outside the palace of Versailles, it's modern day. Inside, the people dress, eat, and act like it's the 18th century. The palace has every indulgence, but for one pretty young thing, it's about to become a very beautiful prison. When Diana witnesses an act of murder by the young king, her mother makes a cruel power play, blackmailing the king into making Dani his queen. When she turns 18, Dani will marry the most ruthless and dangerous man of the court. She has 6 months to escape her terrifying destiny, 6 months to raise enough money to disappear into the real world beyond the palace gates. Her ticket out, glitter. A drug so powerful that a tiny pinch mixed into a pot of rogue or lip gloss can make the wearer hopelessly addicted. Addicted to a drug, Danny can sell for more money than she ever dreamed. But in Versailles, secrets are impossible to keep, and the most dangerous secret, falling for a drug dealer outside the palace walls, is one risk she has to take. It does seem interesting, but I don't see myself reading this again. So if you want to check this out, Glitter by Erilyn Pike. I have Never Ever by Sarah Sadie. She didn't believe in love until a real-life Peter Pan stole her heart. So this was like a Peter Pan kind of like retelling. I remember reading this and I liked it. There's like another, I think the sequel is out. I forget what it's called, but I right now don't see myself reading this, so I probably won't keep it, but let's see what this is about. I, Wiley Dalton, solemnly swear to never ever grow up, never ever turn to my parents, never ever fall in love. Wiley Dalton has dreamed of staying young forever. Then she meets Finn, who makes her dreams a reality. Life can't get much better than partying all day on Tropical Island where nobody ages past 17. Can it? And then here, she doesn't believe in fairy tales. He doesn't believe in growing up. The night Wiley Dalton and her brother sneak out of their Manhattan apartment to go to a rooftop party, she's looking forward to one last night of freedom just before her brother Joshua goes to juvie the next day. Then Wiley meets Finn on the dance floor, and sparks aren't the only thing that fly. Soon, she and her brothers are soaring over the city, and Wiley finds herself falling for the mysterious, charming stranger. Finn whisks them away to a remote island populated by a small group of teenagers who can fly and don't age past 17, where life is one endless party. But when her new friends start mysteriously disappearing, Wiley discovers there's more to this world than staying young forever. Someone on the island has a secret, someone is lying, and someone will betray her. Interesting. I like retellings, so I don't know if I will read this again, but I don't know. We'll see. It seems interesting. I put this in tentative because I know I liked it back when I read it. And then Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. Stiefvater. I'm not reading this again. I already know I'm not. But I know back in high school, like freshman year-ish, I really liked this series. And I was also here for like the friend who was like the black best friend character. I really liked her more so than like the main characters. I remember that specifically. It's a paranormal romance story about wolves and stuff. There's like Shiver, there's Linger. It was like, and I like how the font is in blue, so if you can just see the text, it's like blue instead of the black. And I think with like the green one's like a dark green, there's probably like a red one's like a dark red and stuff. And I thought that was like pretty cool. And then I opened my eyes and it was just Grace and me. Nothing anywhere but Grace and me. She pressing her lips together as though she were keeping my kiss inside her, and me holding this moment that was as fragile as a bird in my hands. I don't know, I liked it for what it was. Seems like I had this book since January 11th, 2010. Yeah, like, but I don't see myself. It's dual POV. I don't know. I don't see myself reading this really again. But I feel like I solely liked it because the font was in like a dark blue instead of like the black. I haven't seen that before in books. So yeah. And I don't think they put like summaries up in here anymore because I had never seen them, but it says, in all the years she has watched the wolves in the woods behind her house, Grace has been particularly drawn to an unusual yellow-eyed wolf who, in his turn, has been watching her with increasing intensity. So it's giving mates. I don't know if they're fated, but it's giving mates. It's giving like a little romance. I don't see myself reading this. You see how long I've had it with like the edges being kind of, it is what it is. Next, I have not the entire series, but the Throne of Glass series. Hold on, let me close my door. I'm sorry if it's getting dark on this side, the sun's going down, so my other light source is not sourcing. But I have almost the entire series of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I don't know why I said it like that, Sarah J. Maas. And I finished this. I read this whole series, I want to say. Wait, no, I read the first 3, I think, but not like the last 2, but I bought them because I knew I wanted to get them, or I read all of them except for like the last one. I can't remember. But I know I've been hearing a lot of talk of people, at least based off of, I say a lot of talk, I only follow like a handful of booktubers. But some of them are either reading this for the first time or like rereading it, and I'm like, I don't know, I wouldn't mind trying to like reread it as well. But like, I'm pretty sure Throne of Glass is like the first one in like the series, and I've read all of them except for the novella and like the last book, Empire of Storms, I think. But I know I enjoyed it. I feel like if I really want to, I probably have to like read it again. So I don't know, I may keep this maybe as like, if I can do like a reading vlog of these, see if I want to like unhaul the series, because I remember reading it, I liked it for what it was. So I'll probably maybe keep them and just add it to my little tentative stack. This could also be part of the series that I want to like an epic fantasy type series, even though I feel it's more like romantasy, like epic romantasy, because this is about like an assassin who is like in prison or something like that, and it's another tournament trope if I can like call it that, theme, I guess. And I know I said with like one of the other books down there, I think it was Frostblood right here, yeah, Frostblood tournament, I mentioned that like I'm not a big fan of tournament like type stuff, but I don't know, like it depends, because just based off of that, the Frostblood one I wasn't really into, but I know I liked this, I know I enjoyed this, and I'll probably see, since like I own it already, because I know with like the original, I like the original cover is better than the new like and improved covers. I might just read them and see if, or read like the first one and see if I want to continue on with the series, and if not, then I'll just unhaul the whole series. Yeah, so I have the stack that I'm keeping tentatively. Well, tentatively I keep saying that because from Savage Song, from Wink Club at Midnight and up, I still trying to figure out if I want to keep them. But then with Aeon, I know I want to read those because it seemed like pretty interesting, so I'll just go ahead and grab them and put them in like over there. I also have 2 books over here as well that I was going to talk about, but I may just leave that for another episode of Tell It Before, because at one point I did enjoy them enough to want to read them, but either I wasn't vibing with it, or something about it that I didn't like with reading. I may just have to figure that out, because the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to read these. Let me get them real quick. Okay, so I have these. So Wish of the Wicked by Danielle Page, and I have the duology of But Like Magic by Liselle Sambury, and But Like Fate, so like the sequel to it. And I usually don't buy sequels if I haven't read the first book yet, but it was during a time where I was seeing black girls on covers of books that I'm into, like fantasy and stuff like that, and I was super excited. It's like impulse buying, but now I know to like not do that because I haven't done that since. But I have the audiobooks for both of these, so I figured if I don't want to like physically read them, I could like listen to it in tandem like one weekend and just get through it faster like that way. But I don't know, like what's stopping me about this, because I only got like that far, if you can tell, but I'm not a big fan for family. Like I just find them like super annoying, and so that's like rubbing me like the wrong way. It's not in a sense of like, you know, you don't like a certain character or like side character in like this in the series, but they're not on page a lot, but they're on page a lot. So now I'm like, if they're in here right alongside, like I'm learning about the whole family, not just the main character. I don't know. So now I'm like kind of like on the fence, but I have the audiobooks through Audible, and because I did like a free trial, and of course with Audible, once you download the books with like whatever credit or something you have, you keep them even after the trial. So I still have them, and I'm like, if I can just read them in tandem, I can just get through them and then have like a more concrete reading thing. But I don't see myself like reading these, but I'm trying to be like, okay, but listen to them, you have the audiobooks, right? So like I may just do that and see, at least for like Blood Like Magic, just to see if I like it, then I'll, you know, do that. But if not, I'll just give them away. In Wish of the Wicked, I'm only read like this much of it. I used the dust jacket as my chapter, because I see it right here, as my bookmark. I only got up to chapter 7, and I'm on like a few pages away to the part where like I want, but like at the beginning of the, not even, I'm more than that, I'm like this much away from the part I would rather be at, because in the description, you know that she's the only like fae left. Wish of the Wicked is like a Cinderella retelling, and you're left wondering, we know that the fairy godmother helps Cinderella go to the ball, all that stuff, but we just don't know why. So she's supposed to be fairy godmother to like Cinderella, and it seems really cool and interesting, and I was like drawn to that storyline. But so like, you know, from like the back of the book that or like the description, that so we know that the new queen outlaws magic and executes the Intente, which is our fairy godmother. Her name is Pharaoh. Right here, her name is Pharaoh, which is like her, like the fae. We know that they get executed. We know she's the only one left and stuff, and we know that she wants revenge. But the first half of it, or the first like 72 pages of it, is telling us what happened before that, and it's supposed to be like sort of like build up, but there's nothing building to me, and I feel like I don't care anymore, because I'm losing interest with all you was telling me about in the first part of it. Like I don't care anymore. So I might just put this down here, because I don't care, and I'm trying to see if I could find like an Audible or like an audio so I can listen to it and read it, but I don't want to have to pay for this book again. So I'll put this up here, and I'll see if I could find an audio for that, because I want to give it a try, but I just rather listen to it and read in tandem so I can get through it faster for like one weekend or something, and just do that. So I have my tentative, I'll say tentative, right, from Wink Poppy and Up tentative, because those are like ones I would want to try to maybe read again, or think about reading just for the first time. And Iana, I wouldn't mind getting through that maybe sometime this year, or next year, just get it read at some point. And then I wouldn't mind trying to read Throne of Glass again, since there's like a lot of hype for it for right now, and see if I think it still holds up to Past Me, because I think this Past Me gave it between 4 to 5 stars up to like what I've read. I feel like I've read all of them except for like this last book and the little duology or the novella. So hopefully hopefully we'll see. And then if I'm not vibing with the first one, then I'll just go ahead and haul the entire series. That's all I have. This one's like a bit longer because I kept adding books and stuff like that. But thank you so much for spending time with me and chatting about books with me. Do any of these, have you read them? Do you like them? Do you think I should add to my stack of giving them a try again, or just wanting to like try them again, or just read them for the first time if they're your favorite? Or if you want to recommend any other books, please let me know down below. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more cozy content such as this, like book chats and just gaming content in general. And just thank you so much for spending time with me, being here. I hope you've had like a nice, lovely time. And I hope to see you in the next either 12 was left before like list, or a gaming video, or my monthly wrap-ups. I just hope to see you here again, and I really appreciate you being here, spending time with me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.